to my knowledge.
What I want to know is there's this wealth fund, and the government had said that it's going to be spent on certain social projects and things like that.
Yes, in order to allocate. But you don't start with 2 million or 1 million, but it will, hopefully in the not too distant future, it will be set up. Also, we're also awaiting the National Development Bank to be set up as well. At the moment it's passing through diligence and so on, and discussions with the Commission. And once those are finalized, the two will be announced close to each other.
And given today's low interest environment, are you worried that certain asset bubbles might be building up, say, particularly in the housing sector in Malta? Do you see a problem in that regard?
With the low interest...
low interest rates in general?
Yes.
Do you see a problem of some asset bubbles building up, maybe in the housing sector and some other sectors?
We've had these low interest rates now for a long time, we haven't so far. Property did not collapse as in many other countries. At the same time, it kept quite stable. It is on the increase because there's a demand for it, so it's doing well, and it's got its strength back in the sense of financially, because it had a lot. We still have a lot of a number of non-performing loans, but the important point is that the banks make provision for them. But inflation-wise, we are at the moment at about 1.5%, it's a bit less than 1.5%, which is a good rate. It might be the highest, but I can assure that many countries would have loved to have an inflation rate of that much, because the ideal, inflation rate is 2%, and we're not there yet. We don't want it to be higher. Okay, so we have to be careful where it comes from, but it's still low by international by historical standards.
In a sense, deflation is a problem as well. So obviously, inflation is always seen as a demon.
The important point is the productivity. In other words, you would expect a bit of inflation when there is growth. The deflation is in Greece, Portugal, and other countries which have high unemployment, high youth unemployment. I mean, I was very glad to look at Malta's youth unemployment amongst the lowest in Europe, and very close to Austria and Germany, which is a good show, and we should be proud of that our unemployment rate is low, but especially so of youth unemployment.
And exports have been declining as well. What's that down to?
What would you say about exports?
They've been declining gradually.
No. This is Malta is so small that you have to read really, not between the lines, but you have to declassify it and look at it properly. There are various flows in the exports. There's the question of oil bunkering. Now, we are not an oil exporting country, but we export oil, which we import the previous day or that same day. That's oil bunkering. So you have to remove that, and it's sizable. It's bigger than the whole manufacturing sector. Okay? So you have to remove it from your equation and look at the manufacturing sector. Even there, the manufacturing sector, you have to, again, look at the ST Electronics, which is a sizable turnover and export, because they also import products of high value and re-export them after they add value added. And then look at the rest of the manufacturing sector. Now, if let's say there are over 20,000 people working in the manufacturing sector, and in ST there are over 2,000, still important, but you've got another 18,000 left. So how is the export performance of those manufacturing units, no matter how small, where about 18,000 people are working? It's positive. So manufacturing overall is growing, exports I'm talking about. Now, the ST and electrical sector is at the moment showing a fall in their exports. They tell us that it is temporary, or it will not affect their employment. So this is the situation. I'm not upset with our manufacturing performance. It was declining for a long time. Now it's seeing there is also investment in it. Now, would I want it to be better? Of course I do. And however, to do that, we need to invest. And that's where the life sciences and new type of manufacturing investment should come in order for us to be competitive and export more for the future. In Malta, the secret is diversification. So no sector can be taken for granted, or you think that it's too small for as being important. Every small sector, whether it's fish farming, whatever, manufacturing, service, iGaming, whatever it is, service, they're all important because Malta's economy has to be diversified. Otherwise, we'll always get shocks when a big sector has a downturn.
The Maltese economy is doing very well compared to the rest of
yes.
the EU. What is that down to? Is there one factor?
No, this is it. All these sectors, first of all, remember that there were obstacles on the supply side. The fact that a lot of women didn't offer themselves in the labour force. There were a lot of vacancies before. And the fact that now with free childcare centres, tax credits, the tapering programs and so on, have pushed a lot of people onto the labour force. Even the unemployed, we'll be presenting the positive results of those schemes in the future. That helped. At the same time, there is the stability. It's pro-business government. Now that is, how would I say, is noticed by investors, whether they are Maltese or whether they are foreigners. It's a government you can do business with and invest, and you know, whenever they come up, you know, there's this bureaucratic, let's go and solve it. This can do. I've been saying there's a lot of energy working. I mean, here we're not on a shutdown. We could have taken 2 or 3 weeks holiday. We're still there at it. This week we had a cabinet meeting. It was on the following 2 days, you know, of Santa Maria, or you know, there you are. So you've got a government which is pro-business, and also no idea is how would I say, put down just because it doesn't sound correct. We look into it and see its potential, and it's paying off. This is the secret of it all, and that's why I have to turn a bit political, and that's why the opposition is baffled. Because honestly, in their hearts of hearts, they believe that this Labour government would not succeed. So when they're seeing this youngish and doing, you know, this government always going on and so on with a lot of activity, it is baffled, honestly baffled. And unfortunately, if it were to scrutinize government on certain issues, including investment and so on, people will believe them. But I think the things they're coming up with are no longer credible. I mean, they've managed, for example, to, and I'll bring this issue up, of the guarantee. They managed to brainwash everybody that it's a bad thing, that the government is guaranteeing something for the private sector. Well, it's not like that, because in the council we discussed this with the AIB, that the government, there are certain activities which the private sector would not go into. In economics, to our students, we call it market failure. In other words, nobody will build a lighthouse. What for? How are you going to collect the dues? Or bridges or public roads, unless it's a private road. And that's where government normally goes in, and the old fashioned model was to do it itself. The government would build the lighthouse, build the bridge, build the house, and so on. There are now in Germany and many other countries where they will get the private sector to build it with their own money, and then there must be some guarantee, not money guarantee for the moment, of buying that service.
Very nice issue. Though. At the moment, there is a money guarantee. You've got 360 million. I know it's there, but it's...
Yes. But even so, we have also had money guarantees. It's not, when I said, where somebody put words in my mouth that's unique or something, yeah, it's unique. So was Malta, so was Project Volt's finance unique. In what sense where Project Finance was unique? They packaged, they got land from Malta, which then they leased back to Malta, and they packaged a 320 million debt from BOV, and the government provided a guarantee. Find out whether Project Finance is public or private, and you'll find that it's private. So even the government guaranteeing a private company, Project Volts, which is an SPV, a strange animal, but we've provided 320 for 25 years, not 25 months, 25 years. When was it done? When everybody was distracted. I'm not saying that they did it on purpose when everybody was there, but everybody was distracted with the election and the parliament opening, not opening. And I still remember when the courier came to my house in the evening and he gave me a document from Tonio Fenech. He said, look, we've got a problem, please come. I came here in this same place. They had a presentation where they said, look, we have to do this for the sake of Malta not to default on its loan of 25 years previously from DEFA. It's a German bank, and they didn't have money to pay it back. It was a bullet loan, they didn't have the money to pay it back. In fact, they were borrowing money to pay the interest on all that. So now, our kids are going to be burdened with a 25-year loan, okay, which the government is guaranteeing, but 25-year loan, which has to be paid by the consumers of electricity on a plant which we're going to pull down soon, with the tall chimney, the Delimara one. And a debate in the parliament, of course, we're distracted with other things. But the point is, that was very serious for the country. We're close to a default, and nothing happened. Now, this time, we're talking over 22 months. What is being left out from the issue is when it comes to the money guarantee, it's not a question that it's only for 22 months. The fact that the government, in order to not to have state aid issues, is demanding, as the EU demands, that we charge for the difference between the market rate and what they have borrowed because of the. And we've charged just a bit less than 9 million. So where it comes to the financial, it's ironic that we're making a big fuss about the financial guarantee, when actually there is not an issue. At least this is the way I see it. And where there is an issue, should the government guarantee things for Malta? Because we thought Malta might not survive, you know. So the companies asked Malta to stand by that for the next number of years we will buy electricity. Malta has already given its word, there is an agreement. But this special agreement, the guarantee, is that the government will stand by that if Malta were to default, the government will be there because we need the electricity for the country. And that issue has to go to the Commission. The Maltese Parliament and the Citygate went to the Commission. That was Malta. The Project Volts went to the Commission as well. So it's normal for things that SPVs and similar arrangement, they have to go to the Commission.